Howdy again, folks. We're going to do a little video today on Oriental ribs. Now, friends know that I was a professional barbecue pitmaster specializing in southern barbecue, which means smoked, low, and slow. And there's some tenets of southern barbecue that are just etched in stone. This is not one of those recipes. This is a way of serving ribs that doesn't have to be grilled, doesn't have to be smoked, can be done in your oven, and enough with the southern barbecue snobbery. There are other ways to do ribs that are just fantastic. This is one of them. So with that said, let's get into it. And we're going to be cooking pork side ribs today. And the first tenet of southern barbecue that we're going to do away with is we're going to actually boil ribs. And gosh, if anybody knows southern barbecue aficionados, boiling ribs is a no-no. But we're going to do it today, and it's going to be great. So the first thing we're going to do is pick our ribs, and I've picked a pork side rib here with the cartilage on, and we're going to trim it. And the first thing we're going to do is trim off that cartilage and make a St. Louis style rack of ribs. We're going to flip it over. We're going to take off the skirt on the bottom, just trim it away. It's good meat, but we don't want it on this particular cut. And there's a membrane on the back. We want to either remove that membrane, or as I'm going to do here, we're just going to cut it and cross hatch it to make it palatable. The next thing to do is then flip it back over, trim off all the fat, and then we're going to cut off the thin end of the rack of ribs where the thin meat is, because it's going to overcook, perhaps even burn before the rest of the rib is tenderized and cooked. So let's get rid of that. We'll cook it separately. We're not going to throw it out, but we don't want it as part of the rack of ribs. And the last bit of trimming to do is just take the cartilage and cut it in half. We just need to be able to get it into the stock pot to boil it. So while the ribs are boiling, let's make up the barbecue sauce. And this is an Oriental barbecue sauce. There's just 4 ingredients. You're going to use a half a cup of hoisin sauce, a half a cup of oyster sauce, 3 tablespoons of chili sauce, and 2 tablespoons of honey. Give that a good mix, and ideally, if you make that 2 or 3 days in advance, it'll blend together. You can keep it in the fridge for weeks. It's fantastic as an Oriental barbecue sauce. Okay, 45 minutes have gone by. The ribs are boiled. You're going to lay those out on a rack on a baking sheet. Heat your oven to 350 degrees, and we're going to bake these for exactly an hour. But we're going to do it in 12-minute increments, because every 12 minutes we're going to baste. So after 12 minutes, let's pull the rack of ribs out and baste the top with our Oriental barbecue sauce, put it on liberally, and throw it back into the oven. 12 minutes later, we're going to pull it out again, flip them over, and we're going to baste the back side of all the ribs. And this will be the only coat that will go on the back side. 12 minutes after that, pull them out again, flip them back over, and baste the tops again. And every 12 minutes, you're going to baste that top until we've baked for an hour. And you're going to have a fantastic, flavorful, and tender rack of ribs. Cut them up, plate them, add some toasted sesame seeds, and you've got Oriental ribs. Enjoy and bon appetit.